Hello, chat. We are live. We are going to finish up part 2 of the Patrick Tomlinson saga. I guess the update so far, really, that's kind of where we are. It's like, well, what else is there to talk about? Well, the police, and we covered this last night, Patrick Tomlinson is suing the police for a very specific reason. And that reason is that they were using excessive force, basically, and violating his constitutional rights every time they drug him out of the house in response to the swatting calls. And now remember, we went through this. There were 38 times where they didn't do anything. The police showed up and just checked, said, like, anybody dead? Have a nice night, and drove off. The other times, though, the 7 times that didn't happen, Patrick Tomlinson was drug out of his house at gunpoint, or they threatened to kick in his door. And sometimes they tried to kick in his door. Now, had those been the first couple of times, they maybe would have a defense. But given what we've learned so far and what the court has determined to be factual in the motions to dismiss, I actually think the police might be liable, and so might the individual officers. I mean, at some point, when you keep on showing up to 1234 Elm Street for the response to a double or triple murder, and after a while, you're like, you have to presume that it's not really a double or a triple murder. So I do feel for him there. It is. I do want to hear these body cams though and listen to them holler and scream. So I bet they are hilarious. And the cops don't even realize how close they came to being pepperoni. Patrick stopped making pepperoni's basement. Yeah. Oh, Anderson Cooper. Well, he made. Here's the thing. I don't think, given what's been pled so far, I believe those to be likely factual. Because if they didn't, they're going to get blown out of the water. And as much as Patrick is stupid, I don't think his attorneys are stupid. I'm presuming his attorneys do have some receipts. I do presume they have some receipts for this. I assume that's what's going on here. Is it set for? Was set for tomorrow? Sorry, guys. I thought meant set it for tonight. So I don't even know I botched the date. No, I didn't. No, I did not. So, whoops. Oh well, Safa chat. So, anyways, Jessica, hi, happy Saturday. And yeah, this same guy that vandalized his own stuff to send footage of himself doing it to Josiah. I know he did that. But at some point, and I agree that he may have done some of this to himself with the tour swats thing. Like, if that turns out to be true, then yeah, his case is done. It completely complodes because this is all his doing. But until that surfaces, I presume they have receipts for all this stuff because they've been very, very, his attorneys have been, and also I hope you guys like this. I zoomed in on myself. They've been very fact specific in what they're alleging. And I'm just saying, like, they're pleading very specific factual allegations that I don't think they're just making things up or making conclusory statements. Yes, even if that asshole does stupid shit, he still has rights. Well, those rights are going to be limited if he is, in fact, if it ever comes out that they can prove that he, got himself swatted, well, then he's fucked because you caused your own harm. But if that's never something that could be established or there's any real evidence to it, yeah, it's going to look bad. Camera's back to tracking enabled. No, it's not. I changed the angle a little bit. So we can, look, see, I can go boop, push it up. Nate says, I lean that randos are capable of paying tour swats to fuck with Patrick. I've seen petty shit people can do in the sector. And I'm sure, but remember, tour swats went after everybody. It sounds like Patrick, Nick Ricada, Tim Pool, Marjorie Taylor Greene. They went after everybody. They went after everyone. But the allegation is that tour swats was paid or somehow Patrick got them to do it to himself, which is an issue. Parasocial says, what if they can only prove some of the self-swats, but others appear real. Oh, I think there's going to be a massive, massive problem if any of them are proven to be real. Or I'm sorry, if any of them are proven to be manufactured by Patrick, he's completely toast, because then we can't say for sure the other ones weren't. But we don't know any of that. That's all speculation at this point. None of that's been proven. There are a lot of allegations that he did it, but we don't know yet. We don't know yet. And gosh, that's what I get for not combing my hair today. Like cowlick shoots out the back. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Seller says I still haven't used a cowbell. Well, I haven't had a need to yet. You know, is that meant for the retard alerts? Because Michigan's not playing right now, so I can't use it. Michelle says, will you post something? Yeah, I'll start doing that a little more. I need to start doing that more. I lost track of time today, and I'm like, oh my God, it's already 10:30. And I said we do part 2, so we got to do part 2. So we're going to do that. I should get a beanie like Tim. I still have this luscious hair. I will never do that. I will never do that. I know Tim uses it because he's going bald, and there's nothing wrong with that. But no, I will. God, no, it's all out of whack, chat. I will never do that. I will never do that. If you are regarded if you use a cowbell, I'm regarded, like highly regarded. Oh, I might do that then. Anderson Cooper says I've started balding and I'll just shave when it gets too bad. Yeah, understandable. Mr. Elliott says don't be the beanie guy. I'll never be the beanie guy. Why would I be the beanie guy? There's no incentive to be the beanie guy. I'm just saying. The cowlick is from the guy holding you hostage behind you and calling the police right now. Thanks. Bama lost it. Damn, I'm late. We just started. We're like 5 minutes into this. Put the beanie on. No. All right. So we've never done this before. Guys, we've never actually gone through an answer to a lawsuit. I don't think we have, and we should at some point, because I've talked to you guys about a lot of different parts of things, but if we've never actually done the answer in a civil action, I mean, you guys probably seen them other places and may know the terms, but I've never done it, so I probably should do it. So here's what we have. Here's what we have right now from Patrick. And this is what we have here. So obviously, remember, guys, just like before, it's the same case. Everything in us. The city and the police officers filed a motion to dismiss. They won a couple of things. The rest of them were denied. The majority of the complaint is still there. So overall, that's a pretty big win for Patrick. And this is still in the Eastern District Court of Wisconsin. So remember, we're in federal court. So after the motion to dismiss, the 12B6 motions, the court is ordering them to file an answer. They have to respond with an answer. Now, if you don't respond, so if you've been served with a complaint and you don't respond, you go into default. That's not good. So you have to respond with answers, and the answers are you're answering the allegations of the complaint, and you have to answer them. So if there's a million allegations, you have to have a million answers. Now, they can be very simple and copy and paste, but if you forget one of them, it could be deemed admitted. Now, if you forgot one, you could probably go back and say, Your Honor, we need to amend that. That clearly was an accident. We would like to fix it. A lot of times, courts can be like, okay, cool. But you generally don't fuck up is the best rule of advice. So anyways, Nikki Robinson and Patrick Tomlinson versus the city of Milwaukee, and then all the officers down here, Officer Dorito, Big Black Lyndon Evans, the pepperoni that got away, chat. So this is their answer and affirmative defenses to and Patrick Harry had an amended complaint, so it's just the first amended complaint. And because right now the officers are being sued, they're all being done together because they're under the city's umbrella. Now, there might be a time where they're on their own, but for now, they're under the city's umbrella. So here's what we have. So the introduction, and this is where they're breaking it down, and this is the way you do it at times in a very lengthy one. You would say in response to, we will respond to the plaintiff's paragraph stalls. Paragraph 1. Now you could just write paragraph 1 and then put your response. This is not an abnormal way to do things. This is an acceptable way of doing it. And it says, Patrick and his wife are the targets of a campaign of domestic terrorism carried at the hands of a group of bullies who hide behind the anonymity of the internet. Now, this is an acceptable answer. The defendants lack information because you can either admit, deny, you could say we lack information and we're throwing out knowledge because they don't know what the fuck is going on. Now, obviously, Patrick is saying this happened, but the police have really no idea what the fuck is happening. So they could say, we don't know if this is a vicious campaign of domestic terrorism, at the hands of a group of bullies hiding behind on the internet. Like, they're like, I don't know. We get 911 calls, we respond to them. So we lack information whether the acts qualify as domestic terrorism, and we lack knowledge and information about who is carrying them out, this campaign of domestic terrorism. I think they could have answered a lot more here. Like, one of the things they could argue is this is a compound allegation because look at all the things they do. Like, is it deemed admitted that they agreed that it's a group of bullies? I think they kind of left some stuff out on the field there. They should have said, if you can't answer it in one sentence, you can generally ask for this to be broken up. Because if you guys have noticed some complaints, it's like A happened, then A did this, then A did this, then A did this, then B did this, then B did this, B did this to A. It's not written like poetry. It's written like an instruction manual. So are they admitting it's a handful of bullies doing it? I mean, it sounds like they might be admitting that technically. I think they could have answered the second part saying, we don't know who the fuck's doing it. I mean, now they're saying we don't know who is carrying it out, but I think it's more important to say we don't know if they're bullies or who they are. Now, they say the main weapon is something called swatting, which is when someone endangers the life and safety of 911 calls to provoke a dangerous police presence. And once again, they say we lack knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief about who is committing the swatting and whether this is the main weapon of choice. But we do admit the general definition of swatting. And this is what you can do. You can say, we don't agree with the first part of this allegation. Paragraph 2, it's the first part of it. I don't really understand what you're getting at. But the definition of swatting, we do agree with. Once again, the goal is either harm or terrorize an innocent person at the hands of the police, who the caller is hoping will barge in the home in the chaos, injure or kill them. And they say, yeah, we don't really know or have any information about the goals of the people engaging in the swattings. And any response would require speculation. Now, there may be times where Patrick and his attorneys might say, that's not a helpful answer. That's a non-responsive answer. We want a more definitive answer. And depending on the situation, there might be motion practice back and forth, and the court might say, you know what? That's a good enough answer. Or the court might tell the defense, give a different answer. Like, oh, we don't understand this question. The court will say, fucking answer it anyway. There's also other things you can do. If you have privilege for something, and they make a comment about something that's covered by attorney-client privilege, you can raise privilege as well. So you can raise a lot of things that I can't discuss that. We can't comment on that. That raises issues of privilege. What are you guys talking about here? The Tor Swats thread is wild. Yeah, their guys are crazy. Those guys are crazy. We covered them a little bit already on some of the Thursday night shows. They should just put it in random legal terms. Yeah, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. So, are we aligned left here? Is this indented properly? Yeah, this is indented properly. This is just, they're showing the different format to show that it's a different thing. But they are justified alignment. That's good enough for me. Good enough for government work. So they say swatting is becoming a widespread and well-known method of harassment, with several states and the government adopting harsh penalties to deter swatters. Now, they have to lack information and knowledge. They are not lawmakers, number one. But also, number two, if they said, yeah, we know this is a thing, well, you're like, haha, now you admitted you knew about it being a problem. So this is kind of a critical one, and it's a form of belief as to the truth of matters alleged, and we therefore deny it. They say, normally the police are unwitting tools of these bad actors who have no choice to take these calls at face value. So once again, we lack information and knowledge sufficient to form a belief as to the truth of matters alleged and therefore deny. So and this is a way you can do a combination. Sometimes you don't just say we lack information we lack information and knowledge sufficient to form a belief. Well, you can also just deny it as well. They say Nikki's Patrick situation is different because the police have responded to the swatting calls at least 45 times in the past 2 years. And they're like, yeah, we've shown up a bunch. You can admit. And that's all you have to say, admit. And I've had times where you fill out a complaint, where you're responding to a complaint, you're just like, point one, deny, 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 admit, 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 deny, 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 without knowledge, without knowledge, without knowledge. We can't respond. That's a privilege issue. There's all kinds of ways you could do it. But yes, this is a little more in depth. Any rational police force would have recognized at some point that any calls involving the house were false and should not be taken seriously. And they're saying we lack information to believe what plaintiffs mean by taken seriously and therefore deny. And you guys might say, what are they doing? And, you might say, oh, this is really word gamey. You're goddamn right it's word games. Well, I don't know what the fuck you mean by that. Denied, therefore we don't agree. No. What do you mean by that? So remember, this is you guys might say, oh, this is bullshit. Well, this is the name of the game at times. When you're trying to come up with a response and you're admitting or denying, you're denying the things, you have to be very careful about what you deny and how you deny it. So any rational police force would have implemented some sort of policy to avoid becoming a tool of terror. And they say, we deny there were no policies implemented and deny the police force has become a tool of terror. But time and time again, the police ignored reality, resulting in multiple searches of Nikki and Patrick's home and illegal seizures of their persons. Deny. They're saying now they're denying this in its entirety. That we have ignored reality. Nope. Did we do illegal searches? Nope. And illegal seizures of their persons? Nope. They're saying we haven't done any of that. Not true. That's not true. And they say this insanity has drawn local, national, and international media attention. They're saying the defendants disagree with the characterization of the police response as insanity. And then they state they lack information or knowledge, a form of belief as to the truth of the matters alleged, and therefore deny. And see, here's the thing. This really doesn't accuse them of anything. But you still have to respond to it. Because if you don't, well, you're acknowledging that there was media attention. Well, if you knew about it and there was media attention, why didn't you do something about it? If you guys understand, see how this goes from here. They could say, we have no knowledge about what the hell kind of media coverage is going on with this. We don't check the paper. Like, we don't know what's happened. So there is a very elaborate system set up for this, guys. And you have to be very, very careful when you respond. You guys looking here? What are you guys talking about? Yes, Tim Beatty says, I can't speak intelligently about the travel habits of Private William Santiago. Yes. I don't know. Maybe he was an early riser, was going to pack up before he left. Jim, how you doing? What's up? Jim, hope you're doing well, man. Did these guys swat Nick? Yes, Tor Swats is believed to have swatted Nick. I don't think Nick has come out and expressed that specifically, but it is widely believed that they were behind those people, like every time the Nick's been swatted. So that's a very... Sorry, this is now the indentation's bothering you. Well, it's to break it up, because if this wasn't indented, then it looks like the response, like you can't tell what the response is versus the allegation from the complaint. They're just trying to make this easier to read. And it's a formatting thing. Okay? That's all this is. Caleb just came over to say hi. Well, thank you. Um, Nate Matthews says Patrick was a few inches away from catching battering on a Leo. He swung into the air, and the cops told him to hush, child. You will not. You will enjoy prison, Patrick. Sula says, "Is there an AP style book for legal writing?" Hold on here. Do I have it up here? Where is it? I got a blue book somewhere. Hold on, chat. I think I've got it. Where the fuck is my blue book? Huh. I've had it before. I've had it out. I think I've shown it to you guys. There's an entire book on writing style and formatting for the law. I'll have to look for it. So there's two types of books in writing and law. There is a citation style manual. It's called the Blue Book. And it's literally just called the Blue Book. Then there is a writing style manual called the Red Book. I can pull them up. Like the Blue Book I have is this dog-eared thing that's got like binder rings on it. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, this is literally what the Blue Book looks like, chat. It's just a uniform style of citation. I forget who writes it, but then there's also the Red Book, and that's written by a professor out in Texas. I think his name's like Brian Gardner. He's at the University of Texas. So yeah, Brian Gardner, yes. And this is the Red Book. It's a manual on legal style. So it's there's multiple editions of it. And I had it for my legal writing class. I've kept it ever since. I just don't know where the fuck did I put it. I'll have to use it later. Now, it was a helpful thing at times. Now, yes, if you really need to get stuff, you can just use the internet now. Uh-oh, did I? No, I didn't. I didn't delete it out of there. Sorry. Wrong screen I was looking at. But that's what MLA is the easiest. No, MLA is disgusting. MLA citations are god-awful. So, Carl Jung's the Red Book. Yeah. Apparently, Sean has no style, I know. James Reed says, what's a permanently mounted magazine? Like the magazine is affixed to the gun. Like it's, secured to the gun. It's like bolted into the gun, so you can't remove it. So, no, it wasn't like Project Blue Book. That was a lot more fun. So, there are style guides out there, you guys, just so you're aware. Maddie B says, I'm not advocating for MLA, fat man. I hope not, because it's not worth it. So anyway, they keep going. They say Patrick and Nikki have tried to work with the city of Milwaukee to stop this, but the city of Milwaukee failed to adopt a policy or train its officers on how to prevent Nikki and Patrick's stalkers. There's stalker children from using the police department as a tool of terror, and they're saying, no, they've never tried to work with us. They're denied in entirety. While many of the officers responded to have been kind and understanding and compassionate, others have not. And they're saying deny. The worst offender, Sergeant Evans, deny. On 3 occasions, Evans responded to the call with abuse and violence. Deny. You see how this goes. They're at some points they're just deny. So Sergeant Evans told Nikki he was well aware of the situation, but still demanded to be let into their home. They're saying we lack information and belief as to the truth of the matters alleged, because there is no date listed in this paragraph, and therefore we deny. So they're not saying we can deny it. We just don't know enough about it. Like, what are the dates and times for this one? You're saying this happened. Which times? And it's funny because they do have the dates and times listed other places. So if I were them, I would have included 3 times he did it. He did it on, and I would have done a complaint with paragraph 15 says, like, March 5th, April 22nd, June 12th. I would have listed each time Sergeant Evans showed up as a separate allegation. Because then they can just, if they want to deny it. But I think if you have that information, just do it. Yes, learn how to write legally. You also need to see local court rules. Correct. The basic styles just give you basic ideas. But yes, Chad, I've said this before. You've got at the baseline, you've got your rules of civil procedure, criminal procedure. And then you might have state, Supreme Court has rules and styles. And then, judges and like your local courts, a court of common pleas or a superior court's going to have rules. And then, I've never seen it or encountered it where the rules are crazy, but like a separate jurisdictional court, like a municipal court may have its own rules. And even within like here, the court of common pleas, where you do felonies and lawsuits, there could be 10 judges and 6 of them could have their own special rules they want done. How they like civil cases addressed, how they like to do criminal things, how they do criminal pre-trials, how they do this, blah, 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 blah. Everybody has that. You have to check to find out what the rules are. So, for example, if I get retained on a case, let's say I get retained on a case an hour away, and I've never been to that court before, I'm going online to look for the local rules. And if I can't find them, I call the court and I ask to speak to the clerk. Hey, do you guys have any local rules I need? And they're like, oh yeah, here you go. And I take a look at them. Is there anything I need to know? Nope. Or if there is, cool, I address it. You have to file. You have to adhere to the rules. Number one, but number two, if you do follow the local rules and you've never been in that court, you'll impress that judge. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but remember, guys, if you want to get every little bit you can on your side, every little bit. And you know what? If it comes down to a close decision, I'd rather have the judge liking me than thinking I'm a dickhead. Because that might be enough. That might be enough. I just need that little bit to tip the scale. So you grab all those little crumbs and you keep them on your side. Let me see here. He thinks cops and courts would be strongly averse to being used as tools of lawfare. Well, that's why courts exist. Courts exist to be part of lawfare. That's why they're there. Bamala says, I seriously need to learn how to type. Yeah. You and me both. I've handed my sponsors using Sharpies. That's Ohio. I have had to handwrite a motion before. We were in a situation where something had to get done right that minute, and there wasn't, sitting there trying to type it up on my phone wouldn't work, and my tablet didn't have any. I couldn't get any internet connection, so I, walked up to the clerk's office window, and I was like, "Hey, can I borrow a sheet of paper?" And I took a sheet of paper and just wrote out the motion. Then I wrote on the back the judge's order, and I scanned side 1, and I scanned side 2, and I submitted it. Filed it with the clerk. They filed it, and we got it done. Like sometimes you have to do that stuff. Sometimes you do. I want all documents at 30 size font with Times New Roman. If you guys think I'm joking, you should read the Supreme Court style guide. There are courts that are very specific on what you do. Very specific. So, anyways, we're going to keep moving here. So, Nikki and Patrick live in a constant state of fear where their next encounter with police will be their last. Well, we lack sufficient information and knowledge, and it requires speculation about their thoughts and feelings, and therefore deny. And they go through this, and they keep denying a lot of different things. Now, here's stuff they will admit to. The jurisdiction. Is this the proper jurisdiction under 14 U.S.C. 1983? Yes, this is correct. The court has jurisdiction under, other jurisdictional limits. Yes. The venue is proper because the city of Milwaukee is a political subdivision. They're like, yeah, we admit that. Now, there might be times where you're contesting jurisdiction or venue, but you should have already done that in your, remember the 12B. There's 12B 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Your state might have more on top of that, but in federal court, and venue is, failure to have the proper venue. So at this point, if you hadn't already done that, you're in a bit of an issue already. So, plaintiff Nikki Robinson in the state of Wisconsin, the county of Milwaukee, they're like, we have no fucking idea, but we'll admit it because, we don't really know for sure, but we'll admit to it. Patrick Tomlinson is a resident of the state of Wisconsin in the county of Milwaukee, and they're like, we don't really know, but we'll admit to it. The defendant city of Milwaukee is a political subdivision. We'll admit. The city of Milwaukee is or was the employer of Evans and required to pay any tort judgment for damages for which its employees are liable for acts within the scope of their employment. Yeah, we're liable if you find us liable for something like that. Lyndon Evans, at the time of the occurrence, was employed as a sergeant in the Milwaukee Police. Yep, we agree. That happened. That's true. That's true. Now they say Evans engaged in conduct complained of while he was on duty, acting under the color of law, ordinance, or regulation. We deny that he engaged in the conduct complained of, but we do admit that he was on duty, acting under the color of state law, ordinance, or regulation. Like, yes, he was working, but he didn't do anything wrong. They're saying, oh, baby Dunn did nothing wrong. Oh, Lord. And they say he's engaged in conduct complained of in the course and scope. He's sued in his individual capacity. They're denying that he engaged in the conduct complained of in the complaint, but they do admit he was acting in the course and scope of his employment. Then there's Officer Dorito, and they say at the time of occurrence, was he an officer for Yup? Once again, they say he didn't do what you're complaining of, but he was on duty and acting in compliance. So this is how you break these down, guys. There's when you read these, don't sweat these too much. If you ever happen to read, like if you find a lawsuit online, you're like, oh, what's this about? And you're reading it. That's all they're doing here. They're just, was the guy an employee? Yeah, he was. Like, there's no question about that. Everybody agrees he was an officer. We agreed Jacob Waschek was an officer. It's just he didn't do anything wrong is the city's argument. So it just goes on and on and on about this. And they keep going. And then we get to some of the specific allegations here. So this is where you guys are curious if you guys want to see things here. We'll start with this one here. Members of the police were there on a call by one of Nikki and Patrick's stalkers because there was a murder hostage situation inside the home. We lack information as to who placed the call, but we do admit the general content of the call. From the police reports of that incident, it appears no one informed the officers who responded of the repeated attempts in the previous swattings. They're like, yeah, we didn't. Nobody told us. And they say further, because they were not informed of the repeated swattings, the officers responded as, and this is where, remember, it's supposed to say though, but it says thought, and they add sick to show that's their typo, not ours. That's an original typo. This were a true hostage situation. And they're like, yeah, we didn't know what to do. Like, we showed up and we were told it was a hostage situation, so we thought it was legit. Patrick was home alone and without even time to get dressed, was ordered out of the home at gunpoint and left completely naked in handcuffs outside while the officers entered the home to search it. And they're like, yeah, that happened. So like I said, guys, this one will be funny to see if there's ever any body cam of this, or more importantly, when he, like, the deposition of him. It's like, you were hauled outside. Isn't that correct, Mr. Tomlinson? Oh. And they say it was only after the seizure of Patrick and the search of his home that further investigation revealed the police had responded to similar complaints. And he's like, the police are saying, yep, only after we did more investigation. A follow-up call confirms, a follow-up police report from July 27th confirms the police listened to the original 911 call. It was determined that Patrick was not the 911 call. They're like, yeah. Now that's, and remember, how did Patrick know this? It's because they have the police reports. So remember, at times when they get this, they have information. They've probably FOIA'd police reports and gotten all that shit ready. So like I said, Chad, I think there's probably a good kernel of truth to what Patrick is making the allegations for in here. So I think the police are going to have a bit of a rough time defending this. And they'll see on the next swatting, Nikki was home alone. Now, they're probably going to say, in hindsight, we learned that was the case. According to the report, this time authored by Nicole Plevick, the officers who responded were aware there had been previous calls eliciting multiple responses. They say, we lack information to form a sufficient belief of that, and therefore deny. Now, it's going to be a little weird because they have access to this police report, if it exists. So, they're going to have to go through it and say, did Officer Plevick write a police report? Okay. And what happened? Do they know? Does it exist? And yes, J-Rock, this does become an issue 45 times. 45 times, yeah. They say, according to a report, Nikki told everyone in the house was fine and told the officers again they have ongoing issues of individuals falsifying 911 calls. And they say, yeah, that's in the police report. Now, here's the issue. How can you say you admit to this one, but you're denying this one? Like, you're saying we're without information, but according to the police report, so you're admitting you've read the police report here. And I think that's a bit of an issue. Like, you're admitting you have had access to the report because you're fully admitting. But if you go up here, what's it say? According to the police report, there had been previous calls. Well, we lack information and therefore deny. How are you doing that? I don't know. I'm just saying this like how can you say that with a straight face? We're not saying we have no idea if that's in the police report, therefore we're saying no. But you do acknowledge there's a police report. So yeah, I think that's going to be there are some inconsistencies that pop up here, chat. There are some inconsistencies that pop up here. And I think that this is one of those ones where I think Patrick's this could be a dub for him. It's not a combo breaker, but it's getting there. This is kind of important. This is kind of important. So despite this, the officers ordered Nikki out of their home and searched the house without a warrant. The defendants deny and object to the phrase ordered. They admit there was no warrant, but further allege Nikki gave them consent to enter the home to confirm there was not a shooting. So that'll be interesting. They apparently, how do they know that? It's because they probably have a report. So once again, they can refer back to the report, but they can't say this here. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, no. Yeah, I kind of get the feeling the city's going to have to be writing a fucking checkbook. Get the checkbook out on this one. They're going to have to cut Patrick some, they're going to have to scratch a check for him. Kind of get the feeling there. So, uh-oh. Remember, guys, that is a legal term. Uh-oh. For a moment, Nikki and Patrick thought the madness would end. And here's the thing. I've done some lawsuits in my time. This kind of shit, I can't. This is so cringe. Like, I can't write like that. I generally just stick to facts. If I'm gonna do it, I include that in emotion. This is just obnoxious. But okay. So, anyway, they lack information of foreign belief as to what Nikki and Patrick thought, and therefore deny. All right. So Kiwi Farms is the hardship. This is like Russell Greer level. No, it's not. This is actually pretty good. This is pretty competent lawyering. They got their documents together and then went after the police. Yes, Urabrask the Deplorable says, imagine getting felted by Patrick fucking Tomlinson. Can the city be more embarrassing? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Kiwi Farms, a website. Haven King says, can I write no you in a legal document? Yeah, if your complaint, your answer can also contain a cross claim, like a counter complaint. And if they accuse you of, you stole my weed whacker, and you can say, no, it is you, good sir, who stole my weed whacker. So, anyways, they keep going through this. So here are some things that are interesting, though. They say the dispatch made it clear to officers they were responding to a known swatting location. And this goes back to some of these other times where they've showed up here. The defendant admits the CAD states this, the computer-aided display, but deny any implication as the timing of when dispatch was entered and whether the entry is timely communicated to officers. Ooh, buddy. Uh-oh. Oh no, chat. This is the stuff that looks bad. Yeah. You almost went Ethan Ralph there for a second. I was trying to a little bit there in my own way. And so, as they keep going here, like I said, guys, a lot of this where it's like they're just denying, like, we don't know. Like, the officers aimed rifles at Nikki and proceeded to search the Robinson Tomlinson home without a warrant. It's like, we don't know what Nikki was thinking, and therefore we deny it. Yeah, this is yeah. So that's the issue here. Hammond King says known swatting location means it's an obligation to swat him. That would be fucking hilarious. I'm sorry. The officer gets in his deposition. You swear the whole truth, tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, thank you. Well, look, I saw it on the screen. I thought that's what they wanted. He's a taxpayer, so he pays my salary. He wants to get swatted, apparently, so I show up and try to swat him every time. I'm just, community policing. That would be an awesome fucking argument. I hope that happens. Oh, geez, chat. So they point out on each of these occasions, this dispatcher made it clear they're responding to a known swatting location. The defendants admit the CAD states this, but deny any implication that the officers received or saw the communication prior to arriving on scene. Why aren't they looking at their CAD? Like, it's a big fucking computer sitting right next to them. How do they never check that? You're saying they're remember, they're doing the John Coffey defense. Yes, boss, we didn't know. We just simple police folk, oh me, oh my. That's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. They say, but on March 20th, 2023, Sergeant Lyndon Pepperoni Evans was one of the officers who was called to what was the 18th false 911 call so far, made by Nikki and Patrick stalking children. Yes, he was there. They lacked the information of the number of the 911 call, and whether it was not made by one of the stalkers. So, Sergeant Evans, along with Officer Dorito and Bradley Orlando, were called out to the home on a false call that someone in the home had been murdered. And they say, admit, but we deny any implications of the officer's knowledge. According to the police, the officers who responded knew the address is known for swatting calls. The defendants admit the report states this, but deny any implication as to the timing of when that report was created and whether that entry is timely communicated to officers. They might want, this is why officers are trained, write your reports concisely and clearly. When did you learn information? When did things happen? What did you learn after the fact? Well, if you don't, and this is just in general, who, what, where, when, and why? Did you learn something? When did you learn it? Because right now, if they were sloppy, well, guess what? Patrick and his attorney can read this, and it says, officer, you said you learned. When did you learn? And Tim says, yeah, it's going to be tough why, the senior officers and supervisors were not reading the CAD screen. Just the officers, period. It's in their fucking computer. All that shit. Like, oh, we're worried about officer safety. Well, are you worried and checking that? And they're going to be like, well. The dispatch made it clear to officers there was a swatting risk at this location. Once again, we admit the CAD states this, but we deny the implications. Like, man, there's going to be some fucking settlement in this one, I bet. Patrick is going to be able to hire people to make his pepperoni from now on. He's going to have a whole team. And then we'll see him on Shark Tank in a year, like, pushing his line of pepperoni. But yeah, he'll have a pepperoni making staff. And soon he'll go into business doing it. Being like grocery stores everywhere. Yes, Tim Beattie says yes. The Stearns County Sheriff's Office. Be advised, the Imholt residence is a known naked twister location. Bring handcuffs. Oh, he's gonna get 6 figures. I don't think he's getting 7. I don't know if he's gonna get 7, but he'll get some good money. His attorneys are gonna be eating good. Remember, they get a minimum 30% off the top. So Yeah, this is going to be a healthy 6-figure probably. Nikki appeared at the front door and told the officers everyone was fine. Yes. Sergeant Evans told her that he was well aware of their situation, but still demanded to enter the home. They're going to say, we don't know about whether or not he used the phrase well aware, but we do admit he entered the home. Oh, buddy. Access probably 100K. Oh, no, more than that. More than that. I bet it starts with a 2 at minimum. At minimum. I think $250,000. Yeah, Haven. No, we're just gonna start throwing out numbers. I mean, maybe it'll be $307,000. That's a pretty good number. We've heard of that one lately. So Nikki and Patrick got on the phone with Officer Dorito and told him these swatting calls are frustrating and that we're upset the police department does not have a solution for these calls, and told Officer Dorito the officers would need a warrant to enter the property. So they admit that Nikki and Patrick got on the phone with him. Yeah. I bid $1, Bob. Yes, enjoy pizza, stalker child. Yeah, he's going to settle for $690,000. $690,690.69. Yes, he's going to settle for $420,690. Thank you, Unhung Hero. I appreciate that. And then Barnacle Bill says, enjoy prison, stalker children. Oh. You know, Patrick probably won't wish me prison if I'm thinking he's got a meritorious case here. So, yeah. That's a lot of Monday meatloaf. Yeah. So this would be the first time, and they go say this is the first time that Evans violated constitutional rights. They're saying we deny that ever happened. They also say that Evans' report, he was told by dispatch the call was made from a VPN and there was a swatting risk. They denied that Evans was told by dispatch, but admit that Evans' police report indicates a review of the CAD states that. Ooh, he's the sergeant showing up on scene. That's rough. That's rough right there, guys. That's not a good one. That's bad. That's bad. Here's another bad one. Here is another bad one. This is also another bad one. Sergeant Evans' report says that he was aware of the location's history with swatting. Okay. And when he approached the front door, he could see a set of handwritten instructions for first responders to call a phone number. Admit. Oh, buddy. Oh, no. Yeah. Uh-oh. It's not open and closed, but the government better get City of Milwaukee better get their pens out and make sure that the ink runs. The ink is working in those ballpoint pens because they're gonna have to be a little cutting it. They're gonna have to get ready to write that check. Can I put instructions for my front door for the police? You can. Whether or not they adhere to them is a different issue. So, yeah. Whoa, buddy. That's not good. Which, once again, chat, when you read this response, we admit to it. Well, how do we know that if he knew about the history of it, how does that jive with this? How does it jive with anything above? It doesn't. It doesn't work with any of that. There's a lot of problems with this. Once again, there are things here. There are things here that are problematic. And J-Rock, you're right. Their insurance company will demand settlement. They might be self-insured, though. So, but yes, this is never going to a trial. Given, like, I can't believe they didn't just offer to settle already. If they were going to have to admit to all this shit, They must have something in their back pocket. They must have something in their back pocket, like they have proof he did these himself or something. Because whoa, yeah, This is just this is not good. So, so Sergeant Evans knocked Nikki up on the door and told him that she was fine. This is another act of swatting and offered information about several past incidents, centered on they're being victimized. So they lack information sufficient for beliefs about whether she said she was fine, but overall they admit it. So she didn't say they're not going to say she was fine, but they're going to admit she talked about getting swatted all the time. You're like, yeah. So, despite this, Sergeant Evans insisted he needed to check the interior of the home, even though Nikki told him she did not consent for him to come inside because she was busy working at home. Admit. Oh, that's not good. Because we go to all this other stuff here. Well, I know there's a history of swattings and it's probably all bullshit, but I still want to. I did not consent for you to come into the home. Ooh. Okay, yeah, if we're getting to that point, chat, yeah, we are in 7-figure territory, J-Rock. Because you start doing this, jury's going to award a lot of money. Yeah, this is 7. This could be a 7-figure lawsuit for Patrick. The Pepperoni Man may actually win, chat. The Pepperoni Man may win here. Ooh. Whoa, God, John Bryan, this would be kind of a funny one for him to cover. Nikki told Sergeant Evans he should call another police sergeant, Carrie Pochernich, which Sergeant Evans did. They lack some knowledge sufficient belief as to whether Nikki told Evans to call another sergeant, or whether or not Nikki said to specifically call Carrie Pochernich. Yeah. 10K view says 7 figures for punitive damages. Yeah. Well, eventually, their fuck-ups are bad. They're admitting to a lot of fuck-ups here, dude. And I get it, you're up in Canada, but violating your constitutional rights repeatedly and wantonly like this, yeah, there's some fucking problems. There's some problems, man. There's some problems. Well, J-Rock, remember, it's not all 47 times. It's 45 times. But the 38 of them were totally cool. And remember, they're not acknowledging the 38. They're only acknowledging the 7 that were problems. Ag saying, what's a statutory maximum for punitive damages? Buddy, this is federal court. This is in federal court, and they're suing under federal law. Under 42 U.S.C. 1983. This is a federal civil rights lawsuit. So there aren't limits like that. There aren't statutory limits. This is federal law. It doesn't matter what Wisconsin says because we're not under Wisconsin law. We're under federal law. We're under federal law in federal court. So, buddy. Yes. Where we're going, there are no limits, chat. Yeah. So, do the O&A guys just hand Patrick a W? Depends, yes, but them and Taurus Watts may have. Them and Taurus Watts may have done it. So, I mean, there's more. There's more there. There's more here. On September 22nd, officers arrived at the home, but politely told them they knew the report was false and left right away after telling the couple they didn't need to come inside. They're saying, yep, that happened. Yeah, so they're admitting sometimes they were pretty chill. Now, they're saying on October 1st, Nikki was ordered out of the house by heavily armed officers stacked up behind a shield. And she's saying that they lack information of foreign belief of whether or not their hopes gave way to renewed terror. But they do admit they sent a fucking entry team to the house with a ballistic shield. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, it's who paid Taurus Watts. And that's the ultimate thing. If Patrick is found to have done this, then he loses it all. Haven King says, could the jury award $1 billion? Yeah, I mean, but I think the judge still has discretion to, reduce limits. But a jury wouldn't do that. But I can see them get, at this point now, with some of these inconsistencies and stuff, a couple mil. But once again, if Patrick did something to engage with tour swats, it's all going away. That's a baldoistic shield. That would be funny. According to the police report authored by Officer John Kohler, he and other members of the Tactical Enforcement Unit responded to the home and report that Nikki had been murdered. He was there, but he denies he was a member of the Tactical Enforcement Unit. So among the other officers were Jacob Wozczyk and Fida Mustafa. They admit those officers were there, but again deny they were members of the Tactical Unit. And they say Nikki, the person whose murder the SWAT officers alleged were there allegedly to discover, came to the door and told the SWAT team she was fine. And see, this is a problem here. They could have said here, Nikki came to the door and told the cops she was fine. But there's this right here. Nikki, the person whose murder the officers were allegedly there to discover, came to the door and told the assembled SWAT team she was fine. If they had said instead, Nikki answered the door and she told them she was fine, that would be a better thing. Because here, if you word this like this, the defendants can say, we lack information and knowledge sufficient to form a belief as to what Nikki and Patrick thought. Therefore, deny. So they could deny it all the way because this is so shittily worded. But if they had actually been smart about this and said Nikki answered the door and told the cops she was fine, that's going to be a tougher one for them to deny. So this is, once again, brevity is the soul of wit. Get fact. If you want to do tampon wedding, you want to ring out your tampon in the complaint, fine. But you also need to have facts that stand on its own. Like, these are critical facts. Like, what we heard your, it's like the police get a report. Hey, we heard Sean's dead. And I answer the door and they're like, who are you? I'm Sean. We thought you were dead. I'm like, but I'm not. That would be the thing here. But this is, whoa. So, once again, this is all fucking, these paragraphs are fucking emotional. And that doesn't help them, because see, look what they can get away with denying. And what they can get away with here, but they have to look at what they get. Look at what they get, admissions to. They get them to admit it was in the CAD files. They get all kinds of admissions. But these things that would really help them and boost up what they're looking at, it becomes a problem. This is the problem here. He's done this and he's hurt himself, I would argue. And once again, like, we come back to this part here. We're denying our allegations if anything happened, but he is aware of the history of all of this. Like, right here, once you're typing this out and you have to write admit remember, when you admit, you're admitting this entirety of the paragraph. Every single letter in this. You are agreeing with that in its entirety. You're admitting to this partially, but the critical parts of being told it's another swatting act, that she's not consenting. Tim says it's all going to come down to the watermarks on the body-worn camera. Yes, it will be. Yes, it will be. The watermarks. So, they say, now here's an interesting thing. So they say, according to the reports, Evans spoke to Sergeant Pochernich, who told him she was not aware of an agreement between Nikki and Patrick and personnel from the District 1 station. Admit. Once again, this right here is a problem because I don't remember who I called, and I don't know if she said to call this person. It's very weird that you admit, I did speak to this person. Are you arguing this is all just happenstance? That's a coincidence. That's a hell of a coincidence. Don't you think? Don't you think? I mean, Bama Law, if you're out there, Old Line Red, that's a shame. J-Rock. Common Lawyer, I know some of you other guys are out there. Oh, Kurt, I wish you were here, Kurt. Yeah, this is anybody. Emily Banker, all you guys, like, whew. Attorney Tom. Yeah, this ain't good stuff. They'd all be sitting here going, oof. Oof. This is bad. But this is critical. She wasn't aware of an agreement between them and the District 1 station. Okay, but they're saying, well, yeah. This is a fabrication. They're saying this is bullshit, this allegation. The defendants lack information and legally sufficient form of belief is the knowledge of truth or matter asserted. Therefore, we deny. Okay. J-Rock says, having to admit anything but the party's venue and jurisdiction and basic shit is always bad. Not always. You could say, yeah, this guy responded. Yeah, he was there. But then that shit didn't happen the way you said it did. I don't have any problem with denying what happened as long as you're going to, like, yeah, that these officers were there. Like, there's no real reason for them to deny that. They could say, look, you know, we were operating in the color of law and we had belief. But, yeah, this is not good. Overall, this is not a good... These are not good answers. These are not good answers. So the defendants lack information and knowledge sufficient to form belief. Okay, we already did that one. Patrick has spoken to Sergeant Puchernick, who confirmed that during the phone call she had with Sergeant Evans, she had told him she would not search their home. So they're saying we lack information and knowledge sufficient to form belief, therefore we deny it. I mean, why wouldn't they just deny it? Because, I mean, if she works for them, she's a sergeant. They should be able to go to her and say, did you talk to this fucking guy? And if she did, she probably should have made a note of it somewhere. Yeah. So despite all this, according to the police report, Sergeant Evans assisted entry on her home and proceeded to check the residence. They lack information to form a belief, specifically what despite all this is referring to. But they further admit Sergeant Evans entered the home and checked the residence. Ooh. 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 Yes, the myopia of the color of law. Oh, these phone calls should have been recorded. Yeah. And that's the thing. Patrick should have... Well, actually, hold on here. Is it... Is Wisconsin a one-party or two? Yeah, it's a one-party consent rule. And even then, I still think ultimately that idea of one-party, two-party consent is for the eavesdropper. Did you hear Clyde? No, that is 2.0 sneezing. So, yeah, but this is... yeah. And when you're in these situations like Patrick, he should have recorded all this. Which makes me wonder if Patrick did record that phone call. Ooh, buddy. Ooh, buddy. Ooh, Lord. Ooh, Lord. Uh-oh. And they say Evans accomplished this by putting his foot in the doorway and enforced entry over Nikki's objections. They're saying they deny that. Well, we'll find out. Officer Dorito and Officer Orlando did not intervene to stop the search. Well, we're denying it was illegal or the seizure occurred. I would argue that is a seizure. You're in her home and she can't, like, you made your way into her home. It's a seizure. It's a voluntary seizure, but it's still a seizure. And they say, of course, Sergeant Evans found no other person present or injured. They say, yes, he didn't find anybody, but he disagreed with the implication suggested by the preface to the sentence with the words, of course. See, this is, yeah, that's, oof. Orbra says, yeah, I saw somebody in the Patrick thread told me they added me in there and they notified me. There's audio of him yelling, and we'll listen to that in a second. I didn't get a chance to really hear it. On April 11th, there were 4 separate swatting attempts, and they're like, yep. 3 of them ended peacefully with a simple conversation. Now, see, once again, they can play the word games here because you got too editorial with this. The defendants lack information and knowledge sufficient to form belief as to what plaintiffs mean by ended peacefully with a simple conversation. Once again, you could just say the police spoke to them briefly and then left. They didn't involve any, so there was no interaction, the police entering the home. There were no fight. You could have done this a different way. Ending it peacefully. You're editorializing it. You're editorializing it. So. This is the thing here. And they say, but on the last one, late at night, 6 armed officers came to the home and again detained Nikki and Patrick and searched their home. They admit officers came to the home, but further deny. Again, the dispatch made it clear it was a swatting risk at this location. They admit the CAD states this, but deny the implication as the timing of when dispatch was entered, and that entry was timely communicated to officers. They say this time the call wasn't made 911, but through a VPN chat service. And they admit. Ooh, buddy. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. Uh-oh. Holy shit. Fuck. Oh no. This is the only sound they need to be hearing right now. Here you are, Mr. Tomlinson. Oh. Ooh. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Yes. Do not admit, sir. One of the officers, Sean Carlton, wrote the police report. See, this is how you do this, though. One of the officers wrote the police report, admit, and then you go into what he said. This is how you do that. Eric says, has it been recorded? Yeah, 911 calls are recorded. When you call 911 or like those police lines, dispatch, that's all recorded information. Did they find the pepperoni stockpile? No. Patrick probably hides that. I don't think he just has it sitting around. It's probably in his basement. Maybe the officers are part of the pepperoni operation when they pick up, young black men on the street, and instead of taking them to the police station, they take them over to Patrick's house. Like, maybe they're in on it together. You guys ever thought about that? Maybe he's doing that. And now their arrangement fell apart, so now this is the payback. So, Officer Carlton wrote that it was important to be noted that Nikki and Patrick's home is listed as a swatting risk, meaning there have been numerous false reports made at the home, but not by the occupants of the home. They admit, but they deny implication as the timing of that knowledge. Officer Carlton continued writing that he was aware that Nikki and Patrick are disliked by an unknown community, and it seems they are determined to continually call false reports on him. Admit. Oh no. Once again, this is this right here. Once again, chat, remember how this is a very specific thing? It's because they have his police report. Oh. God, this is how you make fucking boat payments as an attorney right here. Yeah, Patty's getting paid. Patrick Tomlinson is getting fucking paid, chat. Woo! Oh. So they know. So they know. But once again, see, this is how you do this. You make a basic statement. Who wrote the report? What did they write in the report? And then you say further, what did they do? Admit. Man, they should have been calling Patrick's attorney already. Patrick's getting a G5. Okay, well, nah, he doesn't get that kind of money. But yeah, Patrick, he could play the Jefferson theme song. Well, he moving on up to the east side, to that stainless pepperoni grinder in the sky. Moving on up. Oh, can he get paid and tasered? It's a win-win. Yes. Yes. Oh. Yeah, it's at this point, yeah. Once again, chat, this is kind of one of those deals where they're just going to, Patrick's attorney is going to sit there and say, you start writing zeros, I'll tell you when to fucking stop. I mean, I've never had that luxury of being in that situation, but I have heard those stories before from attorneys, and they get to say, I walked in there and it's like, how'd it go? And I remember this old timer, he was telling me, he's like, well, I got to tell them to start writing zeros. I told them, I'll let you know when I think you've written enough. And then we'll talk about the number on the front end. So, can Patrick buy InfoWars? Yes. Oh. Yes, the insurance company is going to be looking at this going, why, sir? Sir, why? Why did you not do that? Why did you do that? Oh my God, this is really, really bad. Maybe he could buy Nick's house. Well, Nick already took care of it, so he can't. So, whew. So anyway, Patrick saw the whole thing in the doorbell camera, rushed home. Okay, well, see, they're going to be like, we can deny that one. Who the fuck knows? And that's fine. So he told the officers to leave, but they refused. They say, we admit that he told us to leave, but we affirmatively allege Patrick was unreasonably loud, boisterous, appeared intoxicated, and was otherwise disorderly while hurling insults at the officers. Now, see, this is where if you're going to admit and you're explaining why, this is an issue here. This is an issue here. This is a good one. He showed up home and was he was acting like a tard and was reeing on his own. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I kind of want to see Patrick's reaction. Officers ordered Nikki to come to the front door so they could visually inspect her. Admit. Patrick was illegally detained by officers who threatened to place him in handcuffs or trying to go inside his own home. Deny. But they also acknowledged that if he was trying to go into his house and he showed up, yeah, this is fucking retarded. The very next day, Sergeant Evans responded to yet another call. Admit. The call was for a shooting at the residence, and the dispatcher advised officers they were to be advised swatting-related call. They once again, the CAD stated it, but we can't say otherwise. And they once again, there's a swatting risk. And they're like, look, our CAD says it. And once again, he's a sergeant. He is a supervisor. He's not just, swinging dick Officer Snuffy. He's not just Officer Snuffy. He's the sergeant. This is getting bad, guys. This is not getting bad. This is oof. It's like that guy who does the what's the guy's name? Short Pokemon card deck or whatever. And it's like, should I open it or should I keep it sealed? Well, every time we're flipping through one of the allegations, you just hear cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Access. So are these officers fired yet? No, it doesn't appear they've been fired. They're police. The city's gonna protect them. The city's like the ultimate mom in the hood. My babies didn't do nothing wrong. They're good boys. They'll never say they did anything wrong. They say. Upon arriving, they spoke with someone standing around who told them they had not heard any gunshots. Notice this is in quotations, so they probably have a police report saying that. Defendants lack information and belief of that, but they deny. Could he get paid more than $83,000? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, oof. Can he pierce the officer's protection? He might be able to if he can get through qualified immunity. Here's the bigger thing, though. He doesn't have the kind of money. He wants the city's money, ultimately. Like, you sue the city because they have a limitless checkbook. Bankrupting the officers isn't going to do shit. They don't have that much. The city will settle for a couple $1 million. The cops can't. So, yes, is Patrick going to swim like Scrooge McDuck? Yes. Job well done says after lawyers probably at $100K. No, I bet he's going to have remember, it's 30%, so if it's like 1.2 million, Patrick gets like, $700K out of it, man. He's going to get a lot of money. He's going to get a lot of fucking money. So, this time, Officer Nathaniel Peterson wrote the report. Admit. According to that report, Peterson arrived with Sergeant Evans, and they were aware this was a known swatting address located in the city and county of Milwaukee. Notice, there isn't the, admit, then we learned later because we don't know when we learned about it. They just say admit. Patrick Tomlinson's going to fucking make some money here, chat. He's going to be a rich LolCow. He is going to be a rich LolCow. And if any of you out there tour swats, you were fucking with him. And more importantly, if anybody else fucked with him because you wanted to fuck with him, you fucked with him and now he's going to get rich off of you fucking with him. You felted yourself. You felted yourself. Benjamin Lewis says that's 700 bands. I'm just saying, like, theoretically, if he got like 1.2, he's going to get a lot. He's going to get a lot of money, chat. He's going to get a lot of money. The officers walked on the porch, and Patrick told them that he and his wife were fine and no one was shot and injured. Admit. Sergeant Evans told Patrick that if Nikki did not come downstairs and open the door, he would force entry and kick down his door. Admit. Sergeant Evans then ordered Officer Peterson to kick down the front door, who he proceeded to and then failed. Admit. They don't even need to clarify this. Oh, it was Officer Peterson who kicked down the door. Admit. Rather than having their door kicked down by Sergeant Evans, Nikki came down and allowed Sergeant Evans to see her through the door. Defendants lack sufficient information to form belief as to Nikki's thought process. Okay. But what about the seeing her through the door? They've admitted to that. He saw her through the door. That's an admission. He saw her through the door. Right there is an admission. He saw her through the door. Wow. These guys are fucking idiots. Oh, Officer Peterson did not intervene. Like, why are you not settling at this point? Like, you're admitting to all this shit in the open court now. You should have settled. The city attorneys fucked this up. They should have already settled. Yeah, Jim, my point is, I'm highlighting a bank space. They didn't clarify, could you see her through the front door? Like, if they couldn't see her through the front door, they should have said, further, we deny that we could see her through the door. But they didn't do that. They aren't contesting whether or not they could see her. They're admitting they could see her. Remember, if you don't deny it, it's been admitted. God, yeah, write the fucking check. Write the fucking check. This is, jeez. Police shitbaggery of the highest regard. Oh. Officer Peterson did not intervene to stop the illegal search and seizure. We deny it was illegal. Okay. And then again on April 17th, Evans responded to another one. Yes. This time he was accompanied by another cop who wrote the report. Yes. According to that report, they were aware this address is the victim of daily swatting calls. Admit they were aware. They were aware. But then again, they come down here and say the CAD file states that they were told it was a swatting location, but we don't know when it happened. But they were already previously aware, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, you jackbooted fox. Holy shit. Holy shit. Fucking, like, what a bunch of fucking scumbags. What a bunch of scumbags. They're fucked. Just write the checks, man. And they say, but once again, Evans stood on Nikki and Patrick porch and refused to leave after they told him they were okay. Deny. Well, it's gonna be very interesting what the body cam say on that one. Again, he threatened to kick down her door unless Patrick has a doorbell cam. That'll be very interesting. Again, he threatened to kick down their door unless they came downstairs and allowed him to visually inspect them. Deny. I find that hard to believe since we just admit he did this up here. Because remember, he already said that if she didn't identify herself, he was going to kick in the door. But he's saying this time I didn't do that. I'm smelling bullshit. So, yeah, rather than have their door kicked down, Nikki and Patrick agreed. They're saying, we don't know what their motivations, thoughts, or feelings were. Okay. Officer Vento did not intervene to stop this illegal seizure, and they're denying it was illegal. But he was aware that it was a bullshit call, probably. Who? Since then, the Milwaukee Police Department have received at least 15 additional swatting calls. They have thankfully not invaded Nikki and Patrick's home again. They lack some, and here once again, this is where you get into the you're getting into the editorializing. So now they can say we lack information and knowledge sufficient to form a belief, and we disagree with the plaintiff's characterization. Once again, if you editorialize, they can pick that apart. As a direct approximate result of the actions, as detailed above, they have suffered physical pain, mental stress, loss, humiliation, loss of liberty, and incurred expenses. We don't know. They're going to say, we don't fucking know. And that's fair. The Monell claims. The defendant and the plaintiffs re-allege the above paragraphs. And this is where you can do that too. We re-allege the above answers. That's all you have to say. Tim is saying, standing on the porch and ringing the bells on a legal seizure? No, but if you demand, you won't leave, or you're going to threaten to kick down my door unless I do something, and I comply with you, yeah, I would argue I'm being seized. Like, I can't do what I want to do until I satisfy your demands. Yeah, I would argue that is a seizure. You're not letting me go about my day. I'm not free to do what I want. I have to comply with your demands. I would argue that's a seizure under law. And the court's probably going to do that. So, now they talk about the first of the 7 counts. And here they say, count 1 was dismissed pursuant to a previous court order, so we don't believe an answer is required. Now, here's the thing. Patrick and Nikki might say you do need to respond, and they'll go back and forth. This is one of those times. We mentioned this. And the court might say, you know what? City of Milwaukee, answer that one. But to be fair, this is a reasonable answer. It's dismissed, so I don't have to respond to it. And I think that's a fair answer. Count 1 was dismissed again, so they're going to skip it. Count 1 was dismissed. We're going to skip it. Count 1 dismissed. Count 1 dismissed. We're not answering any of these because count 1 was dismissed. If they refile it, they'll readdress it. So count 1 was dismissed. You get to count 2, and they say, we deny a warrantless seizure occurred. We admit the officers entered the home. But we firmly allege they were given permission to enter. Well, and if they were, then that defeats a lot of the issues here. Because remember, a exception to the warrant requirement is consent. Consent is always an option. That's why the police ask you to search your car, because they don't have a warrant. But if you let them, then they don't need one. So the rest of this, they do the proper thing. Deny, deny, deny. And this is how you handle this. Deny, deny, deny. Nick's favorite word, deny. Deny it was illegal. Deny it was illegal. Deny. And they go through this. And the rest of this, they deny, 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 deny. This is how you handle this. If you're going to deny, just deny at times. So never consent, chat, and never talk to cops. Yeah. Deny, 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 deny. They're saying the rest of it's bullshit. Now they have affirmative defenses, and you have to allege affirmative defenses in your initial answer. If you don't, well, now you've got some issues. Because if you don't state your affirmative defense at the beginning, they're generally waived. You can't assert them later. The defendants allege each and every affirmative defense contained in Rule 12 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. To avoid any claim of waiver in the event the discovery reveals the factual basics for the defenses. And they reserve the right to assert additional affirmative defenses that may become available as a result of future discovery. And here's what you do, because you don't know what discovery is going to lead. Looking through Patrick's stuff, you might find out about unclean hands. You might find out about unclean hands here. Like if Patrick was calling tour swats and setting it up, it's unclean hands. He's the one who caused the problems. So if the police responded, they're responding to what Patrick did. So they want to reserve that. They're reserving defenses that exist at common law. An unclean swatting. But yes, remember, Ace of Thorns' favorite phrase, unclean hands. The plaintiff's claims may be barred or limited by the controlling statute of limitations and or the provisions of Wisconsin statutes and or other applicable statutes of limitation. So they don't have to say specifically what it is because they might not know right away. But they're saying there's all kinds of laws out there that they may be violating. The defendants may be entitled to immunity and or qualified immunity. To the extent they allege any state law claims, they're subject to the exclusions, immunities, and limitations on liability under state law. Pursuant to state law, the city of Milwaukee is entitled to immunity for legislative, quasi-legislative, judicial, and quasi-judicial acts, and is further immune from liability for the discretionary acts of its employees. Remember, that's for the state law claims. Now, they're not like, this isn't really a state law claim. It's all federal, but you know what? Pants and belt and suspenders, chat. You cover your ass. It takes you no. This right here is boilerplate. This is boilerplate, copy and paste. And you know what? You include it because it's not a problem. It takes you no time to include this. You always include everything. And then you know what? If it turns out like it's not an issue, then no big deal. But it's better to be over expressive than under expressive in these situations when it comes to defenses. They're arguing that they did so. They acted within the scope of their authority as public officials, within their discretion and response to the circumstances and or exigent circumstances. The defendant's actions were objectively reasonable, and they're entitled to immunity or qualified immunity. The defendants are not liable under 42 U.S.C. 1983 because their actions were constitutional under circumstances or exigent circumstances and did not compromise or deprive any rights. All the acts were undertaken in good faith, that they were lawful and were not in violation of any federal or state law. There was no motivated malice or intent to harm. The injuries and damages sustained by the plaintiffs were caused in whole or in part by the acts or admissions of the plaintiffs. Now, they don't know that, but this is one you always include. It's their fault it happened. You're also going to include it was their fault because there was negligence. Even if it's not a situation there, you include it now just to get it out of the way. If they suffered any losses, they were caused by their own negligence, acts or omissions, or then such losses were caused by third parties or other factors, including superseding and intervening causes, and are not the responsibility of the defendants. And that's the thing, Chad. This right here, this is all boilerplate. This is all boilerplate. They do this all the time. You just include it all. So, the defendants may have failed to mitigate their damages. Yeah. And then you notice they didn't include like any other common law offenses, but like unclean hands, latches, estoppel. There's a bunch of things you can include here. Barred, fraud, statute of fraud. Any and all counter defenses you may have, contributory negligence, whatever it is, you include that. And they're generally just as a basic denial. So they want to dismiss the complaint with costs and disbursements. This ain't happening. That's not happening. Any further relief the court may deem just and equitable. You are not going to like what that one's going to be, chat. Like, they're not going to like that. So anyways, Evan C. Goik, the city attorney, signed by the assistant city attorney. Good job, William. You did great. Maria Masorlis, yeah, you did a bad job too on this one. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Oh, no. Oh, I told you guys this is worth looking into here. Whoa. So what's going to happen? It's fucking checkbook time, baby. It's checkbook time. And if you don't like Patrick, I got news for you. He's getting the dub, chat. He's getting the dub. Oh. So, is there any chance if he sought it himself, he still gets paid? No, because I think then you might be able to articulate the other times might be part of that too. I would argue if there's unclean hands, he's toast. Like, if he did any of this himself, he's fucked, which would be hilarious. But right now, there's no indication of that. They haven't gotten to that part of discovery. I'm sure the city is trying to verify any of that. But right now, this is not good. That's not good. The Tomlinson family, they're going to be eating well, let me tell you. So it wasn't O&A guys fucking with them this time. It was other people. It might have been other people too. It's just widely believed Tor Swats was involved as part of it, not all of it. Tor Swats was confirmed for some of them, but I don't think all of them. I hope Patrick buys himself really nice deck furniture. Well, hopefully he can buy a different fucking house out of the hood or wherever the fuck he lives in Milwaukee. They were eating well off the pepperoni in the basement already. Oh my God, yes they were. The prime grade pepperoni. Well, he makes his own pepperoni anyway, so he doesn't need to buy it. He's an artisan. So I don't he's an artist. I assume he'll still want to make it. He'll just have more and more free time to sit there and make more pepperoni. He'll be able to refine his formula. Who is the asshole that hoped he would make $1 million? Yes. Who told Patrick Tomlinson, I hope you make $1 million, because he's fucking gonna buy one. Oh boy, chat. Oh boy. Ooh. Yeah, this is I don't know, guys. This ain't good. Nice podcast, dude, for $5. Thanks, Dan. Sorry I didn't get to this a little bit earlier. Saying one of our it says, you are not my little brother stalker. You are a clinically obsessed criminal cyber stalker facing multiple felony charges for crimes against my family. And then again, thank you. Nice podcast, stupid. It says, one of our stalkers created a fake Craigslist ad using my name, real phone number, and address, claiming I was giving away pepperoni I made from the bodies of kidnapped neighborhood children. Yes, and somebody had also said that he was giving away all of his deck furniture. So all of his patio furniture somebody tried to steal. Yes, there have been some hilarious antics. Remember, guys, don't touch the cows, but I'm still not going to say it's not hilarious. Oh. Yes. Parasocial audience is saying, if take it to court and watch Patrick get on the stand and say to the jurors, calls the jurors child. Well, he'll probably wouldn't call his attorney that, but yes, imagine the defense attorney gets up there and he's like, "No, child, you don't understand, child." It's like, fuck. That would be really bad. That would be really bad. 10KV says they figure out who made the calls. Tor SWATs made some of them, but not all of them, I think. Bama Law says, good to see you, man. The feds love summary judgment, and the city just made it real easy. Yeah. So, guys, summary judgment is where you force the judge to look at all the facts, and then he has to make a decision on who's right or wrong. You say, okay, well, apparently, they're admitting to a bunch of claims here, and summary judgment means they could file a motion now saying, well, judge, you can make a decision. The judge can look at it and go, Patrick wins. But he could also say Patrick loses or Patrick wins partially. Patrick will probably Patrick has a very good case. This is a pretty good case, chat. And yeah, the city should have already. I mean, as they typed this out, they should have been on the phone with his attorney saying, like, hey, bro, because here's a neat thing. Settlement discussions are not admissible as evidence. They are not admissible as evidence under the rules of evidence. So a true settlement discussion, attorneys will contact the other party and say, pursuant to the rules of evidence, this is a settlement discussion, therefore it's not admissible. But yeah, you'll be like, listen, look, what can we do to settle this? Look, we understand where you're at. What number you're looking for? They really should have done that. And the fact they don't, that's irresponsible. It's irresponsible to the city of Milwaukee, and it's irresponsible to taxpayers. But yeah, this is not good. Mary Three Names. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for being here. Saying, Diaper Dan Mullen crew in the house. O&A party rock. Well, thank you. Oh. The Tomlinson pepperoni will be stocked at every supermarket far and wide. I know. This is going to be his seed money for the pepperoni empire. It's going to Hormel's days are numbered. He's going to have the Soylent Green of pepperonis. Total Patrick victory. Yes. TPV, chat, not TPD. Total Patrick victory. Not total, but a pretty good victory here. Ooh. He will be able to build a moat now. Maybe he can have all the black men he grinds into pepperoni. He can use them as slave labor first, dig his moat, and then he can grind them up. Oh. How does the city prove that the SWATs are self-SWATs now? Well, I'm sure that they're doing their research and are, trying to figure out where they came from, doing the research on that, contacting the FBI and saying, hey, you rounded up Tor SWATs. Do you have, because remember, Tor SWATs got caught. So all the people in Tor SWATs, a bunch of them have been indicted. And then I think one or two of them may have pled out already. So guess what? You can ask the FBI, hey, do you have information? In general, the FBI will work with local law enforcement and say, like, oh, yeah, here you go. Now, that information may not be available, or it may take a little while for them to look for it, but they're going to try. Certainly, they're going to look for ways out of this. They are going to look for ways out of this. Yes. Total pepperoni victory. JC Adult says, can you get an order of protection against the police? Nope. But yeah, I mean, like, that's the funny thing here. The Patrick, like, the officers might not respond as fast now. Like, Patrick's gonna be screaming on the phone, help, the stalker children are killing us, help! The cops just drive by like, no, it looks okay. Like, you may get what you wish. This might be a monkey's paw thing, too. Benjamin Lewis says, call it documentary called The $1 Million SWAT. Yeah, that would be very funny. That would be very funny. It's all part of the elaborate stalker children's plan. Yamal says, oh no, he's on a Draken Lord arc. No, that one's funny. That one's a funnier arc. Oh. J-Rock says, let's make Sean Rich chat begin the SWATs. See, I don't think the cops in my town are that retarded, so. Saul Goodman got a man of restraining order against the DEA. Is this a skill issue? Yes, that's it. Oh. Netflix, here we come. What happened to Drakenlord? He ended up like being almost facing like jail time. He was in German court. Like he had to vacate his house, and he was in another location. Like I don't think Dankel has done another update on him, but yeah, he ended up having to leave his home. Like he got condemned. So he's still a fucking loon though. He's making gay porn now, I believe. I could see that. I could see that. Jerry says, "Let's find out." I'm like, I don't know. It's 12:30. It's a little late. Last I heard, he was driving around Germany in a Ford Ranger. Well, hold on here. We'll bring up the farms and see what's happened to him. Because Drakenlord is on the farms. It's Rainier. I forget what his first name is. Drachen Lord. Drakenlord. Dra. Let's see if we could find it. Let me see here. Why is this not showing up? Yeah, Rainier Winkler. There we go. Oh, he's up to 1,000 pages in his thread. Good for him. Normie, he does nerd. You don't have a 7,000 page thread. Oh my god, there's a lot of German in here. Oh no. Oh no, it's in the Deutsch. Chat. It's in the Deutsch. I can't read this. I can't read this. All I see is Heil Hitler. Heil Hitler. Volkssturm. Oh no. Nine. Unterseeboot. Okay. Oh, nice spot. Dancing. What are the key upcoming dates for Patrick here? Well, we'll bring up Court Listener and we'll get his dates up here. So there are a couple of dates coming up. Let me see here. Tomlinson. Here we go. He has a settlement conference on the 7th of February. So that is one of the bigger ones for him. And I'm assuming that if Wisconsin's smart, they'll fucking settle out. This is not good. This is not good for them. Let me see the dates here. There is a settlement report is due by February 7th, and the dispositive motions are due by March 7th. There is no jury trial date that's been set yet. So that is the current situation. So we have the interim settlement report right here. Dispositive motions. The settlement report is due by the 7th. Dispositive motions are due by March 7th. So there you go. Those are really the new updates. Everything else, there's nothing new. The answer we just read was filed November 15th, and we covered this right at the end of the night. Patrick has a new attorney. He has a new attorney, Randall Richard Reich. Randall with one L. That's all interesting. The triple R. And he's appearing for Patrick, which means it looks like Patrick has new attorneys, which means I don't know if he ran off his attorneys or they got fired. The Third Reich. Yes. Yes, there's no I in team or I in Reich. Or Reich. Or Reich. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. Access, how do you get fired as an attorney if you don't do like what your client has the right to fire you? If your client wants you to do something and you don't want to do it, your client can say, well, I'm firing you and I'm hiring a new attorney. Get the fuck out, give me the file, and enjoy life. That happens. As an attorney, you can also fire your client. If you've been retained and you're like, this is getting retarded, you can be like, I don't want to fucking deal with this anymore. I'm out. Here's the rest of your retainer. You paid me X. Here's my bill, and I'm keeping X. You can totally get out of it. Now, if you're like it's a week before trial, that's not happening. But as things have just started, you can quit. Well, I'm just joking. I don't know what you're joking about. If you're joking like that, I mean, all I can say is,
you're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
Just consider yourself warned. Consider yourself warned. JC Adult says, I could see gay porn. I did not say I could see it. Yes, I lied. That's the other. Yes. You know what is really holding you back, Sully? Gravity. That's the only thing you need to be worried about right now. Yes, I lied. It's the best. It's one of the best. I love that scene. That's some of the best. That's one of the funniest scenes ever. He was only pretending to be retarded. I know. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, how dare I? Oh, Drakenlord is box and stapling in an Amazon warehouse. He's stacking boxes. Well, good for him. Good for him. He's out there doing stuff, getting a job. Good for him. He's already accustomed to peeing in bottles, so I'm sure Amazon's really working out for him. Tim Beattie says 47 swatting calls generated over whether Norm Macdonald was joking. Oh, Dragonlord's building box forts. Yeah. Oh, but yes. Anyways, Dan, thank you for the super chat right there saying, what are the key updates coming? Yeah. Just February 2nd and March 7th. So the 7th of February, 7th of March. Nothing else. Really, the city better fucking settle. And I don't know why they didn't settle before they sent this shit in. This motion is not good. They shouldn't have done that. They typed it up. They should have sat there and the guy who wrote it should have come and knocked on his boss' door going like, hey, boss, you need to look at this. We really need to settle. Although, if your boss says send it. You're like, all right. I can't believe they all sat down and read this and thought, this is acceptable conduct. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, he got off the internet and got a job. Good for him. Yes. Anderson Cooper says, have you ever heard of Patrick Hill? You ever heard him? He'll lose any jury he gets put in front of. Yeah, but that's where, you got to get there first, and it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Yeah, cover your ass, boss said to send it. I understand, but they should have really sat down with him and said, look, we're fucked. We are fucked. So, well, Chet, that's it for tonight. We are done, but like I told you, this had to happen. This had to be read. Because it's, this is rough. This is rough. What if they can prove he swatted himself? I think if they can prove that he's done, he loses completely. But I don't know if that can happen. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. So, this is extremely funny. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. So, what happened to listening to the recording of him yelling, never fucking come here again at the police? Oh, we'll listen to that. I forgot about that. Hold on, chat. Hold on. We've got the Patrick Tomlinson thing here. There's a recording of him. Let me see. I got to bring it up. Let me see here. Okay. Let me see. This is come on. Where is it at here? Okay, hold on. There's a Patrick thread. God, I got so many threads. my thread watch. I wish there was a better way to organize them. Okay. Okay, hold on here. I'm looking for it, chat. Give me 1 second. All right. Nope, not there. Hold on. Nope. Okay. I gotta find the... I saw it earlier. Let's see here. Wait, where the hell is it? Was it in my thread? Maybe? I don't know. I gotta go back and look for it. I guess it might be in there. Yeah, it might be in there. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah, somebody left me the link. All right. Yes. So here's Patrick Tomlinson's police meltdown. All right. Here we go, guys. So here we go. Patrick Tomlinson's police meltdown. Sean, it's taking so long. My hair turned white. Yeah. So here we go. And guys, we'll do a model stream after this is over. We'll do a model stream. I got to start drawing out the lines on the tank anyway, so we're going to do that. So here we go. The volume's all the way up.
Because none of you have listened in 3 goddamn years! Shut up!
If you're not aware of his voice, I'm sure you're probably able to figure out very quickly which one's Patrick. We're going to rewind that just a hair.
Listen in 3 goddamn years! Shut up! Thank you. No, it is the ex-girlfriend. No, it's the ex-wife. Not the no. It would be amazing to know them. You know, this is the fucking time that you have been sent here by these stalkers. You know that. No, of course you don't. Because you don't have a minute about stop talking. No, stop talking. This is where you're trying to talk when you already admit that you don't know anything. Because you don't know anything. You know I have done everything I possibly fucking can to tell you and everyone involved. Our department.
You know, the funny thing is when Patrick does the no, stalker child, you expect him to have the voice of like, no, stalker child. But instead, he's got this higher pitched voice. So it's like, no, stalker child. Have fun in prison. Enjoy prison, stalker child. Like, doesn't work. It really takes the edge off the words the way you imagine his voice. And he's doing that whole like thing like this.
One. Okay? Everything. And I have told you multiple times, not even 2 fucking weeks ago, that hey, just so you know, for the last 3.5 fucking years, people have been making false reports to your department about me Yes, Tomlinson. That's my name. Yes, what do you have? At this address. Shut up. I'm still talking.
I'm still talking. Shut up. Quiet, silly woman. As much as Patrick hates Trump and he hates Trump, he's telling her, shut up. It's like, quiet, silly woman.
What phone number? I don't give a shit. That would be awesome because I'm calling the other. Do you have any idea how many times I've called you to let you know that this keeps happening? Do you have an idea? It's more than once. Look at this. Down the street there, and they're firing up. Remember 2020, I think? These people. I don't remember there. They're pretty public. These people saw that on fire. The local, just all the local news. And they called in immediately. They're like, hey, we saw Patrick Tomlinson running away from the fire. He's jogging through the alley. That wasn't the first time. You want the first time? Would you like to hear about it? Good, I got your attention finally. The first time, they made a big Craigslist ad about this address, using my name, using my phone number, using this specific address, saying that I had motives to give away, that I had made up the bodies of black children that I kidnapped from the neighborhood and drowned in the pepperoni in my basement. That was the first time.
That's the best part of this. He acknowledges it's true. He said it, chat. Listen to what he admitted to. He admits to it.
We've been over this. Never fucking come to this address again. Never. If I need any of you, I'll fucking call. Don't come here again. We've been over this. I've talked to dispatch. I've talked to your supervisors. I've talked to everyone. And you know what I was told at every point? Well, we don't handle that. You'll have to talk to this other person, talk to that other person. Well, I'm sorry, but we don't do that anymore. We don't take those kinds of calls anymore. Never fucking come here again, any of you. I'm fucking serious. This is the fourth time. Fourth. You could have looked it up. It's in your notes. I know it is. Go back to your squad right now. Look up this address. Or that address, which is 2611. This is 2613. Yeah, it's a duplex. Look it up. Do your minimum in your jobs. And never put me in cuffs again, fucking idiots. Leave. Never return. We will be talking to your supervisor. All of you. Never come here again.
I want your manager. Well, chat. Oh boy. Oh buddy. Yeah. That's mighty interesting, isn't it, chat? Mighty interesting. Just saying, like, that was very interesting. Although, you know what? I don't know. I think I would be pretty fucking off the rails too if I was in a situation like that as well at some point. So it's really hard. It's really hard to sit there and say he's not he's being fucking ridiculous or not. I mean, it's tough like that, chat. It's tough. So, let me see here. There we go. Oh, all right. Hold on, chat. I need to figure something out here. So, yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that. That is, if you're pat posting, it's if you're pat posting, chat, this is what it can be. This is what pat posting can do for you too. Oh boy, never change, Patrick. Never change. Go and thumb through his thread for anyone who feels bad for him. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things he's done, but at some point, I was ready to pay for you to shut it off. Are you kidding me? That was fucking hilarious. It was fucking hilarious. Listening to him just lose his mind. And once again, it just, well, it's you, stalker child. Well, it's actually you, stalker child. It doesn't work the same way. He's like, but it is you, stalker child. That would have some gravitas to it. He doesn't have that radio voice. Oh. So that is kind of where we are. So, all right, guys, I think we're all caught up on everything here. And yep, just double checking. Yep. All right, chat, we're all done. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to redirect you over to the model stream, and we're going to start up right away. We're going to start laying out the paint lines for the tank. That's probably going to be the big thing tonight, and then we'll probably have an early night tonight, so get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow, if you guys are interested, I was thinking about doing the TikTok oral argument. That should be kind of interesting. I am interested to hear it because I didn't get a chance to listen to it. And yeah, that's going to be the game plan. So you guys are going to get it redirected over there. And yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, they're going to lay out the lines. Yeah, you draw them out. You could draw the lines of like where the colors are going to go. So we're going to do that tonight, chat. I'm going to send you guys over there. So thank you again, everybody over here on chat. We just kept this simple tonight. No Twitch, no Rumble, no Twitter. Wanted to give you guys the exclusive being here on YouTube. You guys being the OGs. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Well, for other fun stuff tomorrow, but we're going to go over paint the model, paint the tank, get it ready for that. In the meantime, chat, just remember till next time. If you admit to it in your lawsuit, you're going to have to settle. Holy cow. Yeah. So just keep that in mind, chat. And until then, I'll see you guys in a minute. Take care. No, that was wrong.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy?